always a better way.
Now, are you being driven mad by constant nuisance calls? I know I am. I had at least 3 yesterday, so you are not alone. A new survey says that 600 million of them are made every month in the UK, and 70% of us have had a caller be rude and pushy. So what can you do to stop nuisance calls, and who should you complain to? Let's talk to consumer journalist Alice Beer, who's here to explain the options. Now, Alice, I thought there was some kind of legislation coming into play now to protect people from nuisance calls.
Well, there is, and they're giving the powers that be much more of a bite, really, to fine these companies who are flouting the laws. But this was a survey to look at the volume and the impact, really, of these calls on our lives. A survey by CPR Call Blocker, who looked at how many calls we're getting and really is it affecting us. And we're looking at landlines, and it found that we're getting about 12 on average nuisance calls a month. Now, for me, that says that probably people like me are getting much fewer than that, and people who are more vulnerable are getting many, many more than that. And really now, 70% of people are saying when their landline rings, that's not grandma, mum, or a friend ringing for a chat. That's someone trying to get my money by whatever devious means. And we really do need to actually claim back our landlines that have been hijacked by these people trying to sell us things.
My mum doesn't answer hers now. She answers hers halfway through when I'm leaving a voicemail message. She'll go, I'm here, because she gets so many.
Of course. I never get up for my landline anymore.
But how can you stop it? Because the nature of the world we live in now, whenever you go onto the internet to buy something or sign up for a service, you have to put in your email address and your mobile phone number. Otherwise, you can't continue any further in that process. And then are these details being then sold on?
Yes, there are 2 reasons why people have got your number, basically, and that's a problem. And as you say, often you have to fill in a number, otherwise you can't get any further in the process. Well, many of the companies who sell call blocking equipment have numbers that you can use. So if you put in a 0 followed by 10 ones, that's a valid phone number. And you can just put that in.
Good tip.
And when people ring that number, they will be told this call is being blocked, blah, 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 blah. So if you don't want marketing, go online and find one of those numbers and use that to get through forms. And tell your relatives this, because this actually is not about us gathered around this table. This is about my parents, your parents. This is about the elderly and the infirm who will answer the phone and be vulnerable to what's going on. We live in a nation where 1 million elderly people do not speak to somebody for a month at a time. So when that phone rings, they're going to have a chat with that very nice person.
And who knows where that could lead.
Exactly. You need to sign them up with the telephone preference service, which will only stop about 35% of calls, but it will stop them. You need to stop them giving out their number on lists. You need to tell them, you need to help them complain to Ofcom and the Information Commissioner's Office, because they have bite and they will fine these companies. And you need to look at what devices they've got through their landline provider to get caller ID so they can see. Don't answer it until you can see. And you need to look at call blocking devices where they can fight back, and they have a great big red button. So when somebody starts saying, have you thought about this, or have you had a car accident recently? You just press the button and they're gone. And that's how we need to fight back, because we need to claim back our landlines.
Do you know what, though? It's already disrupted your day once they've rung. I mean, and once you've got your number, it seems like they ring at a certain time every day. Sometimes it's automated. So even just by ringing your phone, they've kind of upset your day.
They've irritated you, but irritation is much better than actually fleecing you.
Yeah.
So
it's good to know that there are things out there you can do to stop these nuisance calls, but isn't it a sad state of affairs that nobody's got a private home phone number anymore? It's up for grabs. Okay, Alice, thank you very much for that.
Welcome.
Some useful advice there that hopefully you can pass on to relatives today. Jackie's got an update on sports.
Well, Tottenham are the